Yo guys, always good. Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. How are you guys doing? Here we are today for a Genoa versus Inter match preview, of course. And I know there's a lot of other stuff that's going on in the world right now, and football's probably not the focus, or the mind is distracted by the things that are going on in Ukraine and Russia and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, football takes a back seat, but at the same time I feel like football is the distraction from those distractions. It's the things that the therapy that we use to keep ourselves entertained, and it helped us through the pandemic, and I think it'll continue helping us when these things are happening. And of course, my thoughts and prayers are with the people of Ukraine at this moment. I don't know if anyone actually from Ukraine ever watches my channel. As far as I know, in my analytics, there isn't any Ukrainians or people from Ukraine watching. But if there are, sending my love, and of course, Forza Inter to anyone that's watching. And let me see who is in the house. Give you everyone a shout out. 19 people in the house. Appreciate you all. Mighty Mao, of course, we're talking about expecting a win today. I mean, when it's Inter, we're always expecting a win against these minnows, so to say. But we're getting to that point of the season now where really is must win. What's up, Nicola in the house as well? Marcello saying the same thing. This is a must win, no excuses for us. I think Toro will score. Of course, we gotta talk about Toro Martinez at some point. A topic that is coming up over and over again. Toro Martinez, brother in the house, what's up? Expecting a big result as a thank you to the Curva. Yes, as well, we'll get into the Curva Nord message as well. If we don't win here, we can kiss the second star goodbye. Yeah, I agree, Mattia. If we don't win against Genoa, honestly, guys, I don't want to start this on a negative, stream, but I don't want to win, or I don't feel like we deserve to win the Scudetto. I mean, maybe we can shithouse a Scudetto win after, even if we don't win here. But it's just, this is not a Scudetto winning team. If you can't beat Sassuolo at home, if you can't beat Genoa away, if you go a whole month without winning, because if we don't win, it will literally be a whole month, because this February has been awful for us. It will be a whole month, apart from the Coppa Italia, but in the league without winning. Just call it a day. You're not a Scudetto winning team. So it really is. We got to that stage now where this team, and the good thing at the same time, the good thing is it's not the end of the world, because everyone else keeps dropping the ball as well. But now the margin of error is decreasing, where before we were in a comfortable situation. We had this match in hand. We had the points above the other teams as well. But now we're below the other teams. We still have that match in hand. But the further things go on, the further things progress, that margin of error gets smaller and smaller, and you're gonna get punished for every little mistake. Now you're gonna get punished for. So we have to make sure that we do not make any more errors. And I watched Inzaghi's press conference today, and I like the way that Inzaghi spoke today. He was speaking in very positive terms, and we'll get into his words as well. Edin in the house as well. Not Edin Dzeko, but Edin Panzic. I wonder how shaken is the confidence and morale of the team. We've been battered lately and played horribly. Yeah, that is a worry. The team's morale is probably the lowest it has been the whole season. This is definitely our lowest point of the season. This is our busiest point of the season as well, physically. So there's a lot of factors in this that, even though it's Genoa, we're not as confident as we usually would be going into a Genoa match. Eduardo, channel member in the house. What's up, brother? We need to win. Jaco Sanchez to start. Bring in Toro in the second half. Brozo, Bastoni are back, so we have our best to play. Yeah, Brozo and Bastoni are back. That is the great news. Especially Brozovic. We saw how much we missed Epic Brozo, who should be, once again, this contract is, I mean, Marotta said he's pretty much, everything is agreed, but it's still not officially signed. There's still not been an official announcement. And once again, it keeps getting delayed. Now they're saying, Gazzetta the other day was saying that it was supposed to be yesterday, I think it was. And now they're saying that it's going to be announced before the derby or after the derby against Milan. Like, it's ridiculous how long this is being dragged out. Let's just see. I just want to see the guy signing, putting pen to paper, man. It's just going to give us such a big boost. Lord Gag will lead us to victory, this moment to shine. Hey, this is the team. This is his team. These are his team. Gagliardini, Sampdoria, Genoa, these Ligurian sides. This is Gagliardini's bread and butter. Di Ginnasco says, if we don't win this, we should prepare to battle with Juve, Atalanta for top 4. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, as Mattia says, before we get into the serious business now, let's go hit that like button and subscribe. Good evening to Tom GD. If that's a shout out to Unai Emery, then shout out to Unai Emery for getting the draw against Juve. Hopefully he beats them in the next leg. Sorry. About time, Shama. My food is finishing. Oh, sorry, man. I know. So it's good. A lot of people watch YouTube when they eat, and I do the same as well. But yeah, hopefully, maybe you got some dessert to keep you going there. King Darian in the house. What's up? Lautaro Dzeko starting again. Limone emoji. We'll get into the predicted lineups. Sanjar, what's up? Do you think the team lacks quality as a result of dropping points, or maybe we can't handle too many matches per week? I think it's a combination of things for sure. But there's definitely not a lack of quality. It's definitely not a lack of quality. It's definitely a mental drop. The Sassuolo match was definitely a mental drop. I think the Liverpool one was at the end is like quality. There is the quality gap between us and Liverpool, and then the Milan one before that, and the Napoli one, combination of again a mental drop, maybe physical drop. But definitely, I don't think overall is definitely not a lack of quality. Yeah, Gianluca, we need the Brozo renewal announcement ASAP, please. Must win game, Tari. Yes, it needs to be announced ASAP. Got Brozo Bubos. Yeah, they're holding us by the balls, literally. Brozovic would sign after a win. Yeah, maybe that's what he's waiting for. Maybe he's waiting for that win. He's like, that's the stipulation in his contract. I only sign if we win the match. Hello, Ashkan. Forza Inter from Iran. Nice. I like to see some Persian love as well. But yeah, let me get into my my slides that are prepared for you guys. So speaking about, I was just talking about, the physical drop off as well. The matches recently have been, although we've been talking about a physical drop off from Inter, and Inzaghi mentioned against Sassuolo as well that the players are tired. But at the same time, I don't know if you guys can see because the screenshot is, it's hard to make it condensed because I do want to show you the whole picture there. But it says we outran Sassuolo last match, 116. That is a very high. That is a very intense match, guys. Because usually the average is around 108, 110. Those are high running matches. But 116, almost 117 kilometers covered by the team. That's a very intense match for the players to have run, and that is after a very intense match in the Champions League already. So, when we're talking about the players are tired physically, doesn't necessarily mean in terms of how much they run, but also how they run and some of the decision making, some of the mental fatigue from all these big matches. Having so many big matches so close up, as Bergomi mentioned, Inter legend talked about a couple of weeks back before the Liverpool match. He was worried that all of these matches in January and February Inter have had played, a lot of them have been big matches where mentally it takes a toll on you. And we saw Sassuolo making so many silly mistakes, losing the ball in stupid areas where they continue to counter us, and just running out of juice. When as soon as we get into attacking position, is like we just don't seem to have the zip in the shots or the power or the mental clarity to make the right decision. Of course, Dzeko, Lautaro, but not even just Dzeko, Lautaro, everyone seems to be getting into that final third and not having quite that juice required to make that the shot that's needed, the finish that is needed. You see Barella, man, 13.3 kilometers covered, highest runner in the match. Martinez, Di Marco after that. Like, it was a very, very intense match, and it was, as I said, even in the Champions League, very intense match. These are the running stats from the Liverpool match. Top 3 players are Inter players. That says a lot of how hard Inter worked, but then we didn't get rewarded with a win, which I think that hurts even more mentally. Like, when you've literally put everything on the line, like, you can't complain to Inter's players that they could have done more. They literally did everything possible, and they still couldn't get a shot on target, and they still got punished by 2 goals at the end by Liverpool. which hurts even more. But yeah, Brozovic, look at that. The guy smokes. The guy smokes shisha, smokes cigarettes. He's known to be, partaking in drinking here and there as well. But he is an absolute machine. That even against the, Liverpool's midfield and that Liverpool amazing, physically amazing team, he was able to stand out on top. Hakan and Vidal as well. Like, credit to those guys. Of course, it has to be said that Liverpool did sub out their centre midfielders. Fabinho was subbed off. Harvey Elliott was subbed off. So then Thiago was subbed off at some point as well, wasn't he? I think maybe. But yeah, that shows. Obviously, that makes it a little bit skewed, but shows the massive effort from the team that they've had to put in recently. To explain a little bit what's going on. Brozovic can run so much because he's skinny. I mean, they're all skinny, but yeah, Brozovic does look like he's he's malnourished almost. Like, he doesn't look like he's a professional footballer for sure, or an athlete, unless you're talking about longer distance 10k 15k marathon runners. He's got that type of physique for sure. However, the one thing that does give confidence coming into this match, at Genoa, second last in the league. And I mean, if there ever was a team that is, you could say a whipping boys for Inter, it really is Genoa. Like, Sassuolo, over the last 5 or 6 years, they became kind of a bogey team for us for sure. But over the last, under the Conte era, we turned that around, and they didn't become so much of a bogey team, especially last season. And now they've kind of returned by the looks of it to being a bogey team. But Genoa, the complete opposite. Look at the total goal differential in our last 6 matches is 20-0 for Inter. Like, they haven't even scored a goal against us in 6 matches, which is absolutely crazy. So that gives me a bit of a confidence going into this match. And as we said, even players like Gagliardini usually ball out against these guys. But in the form that we are in, and actually Genoa recently have not been too bad. They've had a new coach recently. The Shevchenko experiment was disastrous. It did not work. However, the new coach they have in, Blessing, it's turned out to be a blessing for them. And they've had 4 draws, I believe. They're unbeaten since he's come in. So yeah, we're not playing them at the perfect time. They're actually in a. I mean, it's only draws, but for Genoa, a draw is quite a good result. So actually, we're not actually playing them at the perfect moment for them. And then I watched recently, I haven't watched full matches. Actually, the one match I watched of Genoa recently was Blessing's first match against Udinese, which was one of the worst matches I've watched this season, because the ball literally spent more time in the air than it did on the floor. Like, it was ridiculous. It was like watching like a League 2 or like a Conference League here in the UK, or like a Sunday League type of match. There was no technical display on show, and that was on purpose. And I've read about this Blessing guy. He comes from the Ragnick, this gegenpressing school of thought. Like, he is from that school, and they've signed him from a Belgian team, I believe, who he was doing really well in Belgium, Blessing. And he's bringing this gegenpressing, counter-pressing style of football to Genoa. But one of the interesting parts of his football is that it's the same as, it's about winning the ball quickly as possible. But it's also about getting it up as quickly as possible, but also using long balls. So they believe that with aerial duels, you're creating lots of high probability or high percentage winning probabilities around the pitch. So you see here, this is a goal they scored against Salernitana. They launched the ball up, and there's already a 4v3 created there, because that's what you do with long balls. You're able to just bypass press. I believe that's Yeboah, an excellent player to watch, by the way. Yeboah, who they signed in the winter transfer window, young Italian striker with some good pace and good finishing, who hasn't shown his finishing yet. But yeah, he wins the header, and it goes here to Ekuban, who gets into the box, and then Destro ends up scoring from it. So this is definitely something to watch out for. Against Sassuolo, we were caught out on the counter-attack a lot of times. I know Brozovic is back, but there's not much he can do if they bypass him with long balls in behind him. So the defenders are going to have to be on their A game, winning the aerial duels or covering the runs for sure. So that's definitely something to watch out for. And again here, I think this was Yeboah who got in behind Destro, coming deep here to build up. He's their main striker, but he came in, and these long balls in behind against Salernitana were causing lots of issues. So that's definitely something to watch out for in the match, guys, and that's something I can see Genoa potentially creating issues with. Although I am confident that we'll be able to deal with it overall. It shouldn't be too much of an issue. And they are very these are two screenshots of their average positions I've taken from the last two matches, and you can see it's a 4-3-3 they play primarily, and it's very narrow. So you can see here, these are the three strikers. It's basically like a 4-3-2-1, one of those formations you see on FIFA where it's very tight in the middle. These are the three center mids, these are the three strikers, very, very narrow. So there is a lot of, you can attack the width definitely with these guys. A little bit less narrow in this match here, but again, it's a 4-3-3, quite narrow, not much width. So it's definitely, I think Dumfries and Perisic or whoever starts on the wings is gonna get some joy. I think attacking these guys on the wings is gonna gain a lot of joy for us. Let me get into some of your comments. We need to win this one for the confidence towards the derby. Yep. We have to win this in general for just our general confidence. But yeah, especially going into the derby, you wanna be winning this. Random fact: Inter really had Cancelo and Telles. Yep. Telles was good, but Cancelo was definitely a big miss. Yep, I love Cancelo, man. Gosens should be back for the Coppa Italia against Milan. Yes, so Inzaghi did speak on that. He said Gosens he took his first full training session with the team yesterday, which is great news for us to hear finally. And today, once again, he will take the training session with the team. It's a great feeling. He has been out since the end of September, guys. Keep that in mind. I know some people are calling for him to start playing, but he has been out since September. We need to insert him carefully into the team. We all strongly believe him. Inzaghi says we will do today's trainings. I will talk to him and make a decision. But I think he'll be part of the squad. I think he'll be on the bench, but I doubt he even has any minutes. As he says, he's missing from the pitch for 5 months. Because he did come back at one point at Atalanta, but then he that same injury to his hamstring reoccurred. So technically, he's been out for 5 months. It takes patience, but we are as confident as we are for Correa. He could be available for the derby as well. So Correa as well. He mentioned Correa, and look at that. There's a point that Daniele Mari made on Twitter about Correa as well, in relation to injury situations. So our treatment room is starting to empty up slowly. Not quite empty yet, but it's starting to empty up. Like what he just mentioned, like there, he mentioned Correa completely no one asked him about Correa, but he mentioned it. Like he says here, Daniele Mari in his tweet, Simone's confidence in Correa remains intact, well beyond what he's actually provided for us until now. He mentions him in every conference, even without direct questions, and constantly underlines his importance and lack of. He will be available again from the derby on Tuesday. So yeah, once again, he's not going to start Correa. He's not going to start the derby. Don't start putting him in your lineups. But by the time we get to that Milan match, he'll have another few days to train with the team. So hopefully he'll be able to make a substitute appearance, and then by the Salernitana match maybe, and then the other upcoming matches, he'll be ready to be back in this team. And he is going to be an important player, guys, in this team. I know a lot of you have lost faith in him, and a lot of you make fun of me for having faith in him, but he really is a unique profile in this team that we don't have, unfortunately. He was signed for that reason, because he is one of the few guys that will take on a man. He's not lightning quick, but he's a lot quicker than Dzeko and Lautaro. He can run in behind. He can create some situations that only really Perisic in this team is able to create, and Alexis with the dribbling a little bit. So and we want to have options on the bench. At the moment, Inzaghi keeps going with he's only got those three guys: Sanchez, Lautaro, and Dzeko. But having the four, being able to rotate them, having them a little bit more fresher, is going to make a lot of difference for us, like it was doing at the in the middle of the season for us, as Inzaghi said. And going back to Inzaghi's words, and once again, it's a tweet from Daniele Mari. Once again, let me share my screen with you guys. A little bit of feistiness, not feistiness, but fighting back a little bit, Inzaghi, because as I've been saying this for a while to you guys, in terms of it seems like everyone's forgetting how we were feeling at the beginning of the season. Of course, there was a few of you guys that were completely, again, convinced that this team was, taking the Scudetto easy once again. But the expectations, Inzaghi said, the board or the management actually has asked him, they asked him to get Champions League football, like top four. That's what the Marotta, Zhang, this is what he's brought in when they met. So he said the objectives changed thanks to our work, thanks to my work almost. He's finally, bigging himself up. We've seen he's been very humble up until now, but he's finally kind of, blowing his own horn finally. And as Daniele Mari said, it's only fair that he takes his credit as well after months of being told that, after the beginning of the season, everyone's saying, oh yeah, this is where Inter should be. But if you look at a lot of the experts, a lot of the pundits on Sky Italia or TV, Italian football, English, or American TV, a lot of the predictions, where was Inter, third, fourth, some people were even putting Inter fifth or sixth. And now Allegri saying, oh yeah, Inter were always favourite from the beginning, Pioli saying Inter were favourite from the beginning. When they were talking at the beginning of the season, it was a little bit different. So I like that Inzaghi kind of a little bit, fighting back a little bit in the press conference. It's just nice. It's nice to see, for sure. Let me see some more of your comments. Genoa doesn't have any standout players apart from Rovella and now Van Huysden, I believe. Sad, honestly, but hopefully we don't come with bench players starting. I'll get into the predicted lineups. But yeah, Genoa, not too many standout players. Mattia Destro, of course, their star striker, former Inter youth player, of course, as we know. He's their top scorer. He's got quite a good goal per minute ratio this season. He's got 9 goals, but only 17 appearances. So that means that he's got he scores better than a goal every 2 games. So he's definitely one to watch out for. And yeah, as you mentioned, Rovella is definitely one to watch out for in the midfield. Future Juventus player. And of course, as Mehdi here says, Van Huysden. However, Van Huysden, guys, he is doing exactly what we feared in terms of he's injured again. The boy was actually starting to, under Blessing now, he was starting to get some good minutes. Even before he was starting, even under Shevchenko, he was starting to get good minutes. He's starting to perform well. But now he's once again injured, and he might be actually out for the season. Let me see actually what it says on transfer mark in terms of his injury. But I read in a report the other day they are fearing that his season is once again over with another knee injury, actually, which is sad. And that's with Van Huysden, that's what we were watching him for. I wasn't even watching him to be is he? I mean, of course we're watching him to see if he's good enough, but from what we know, this guy is good enough. This guy is getting called up to Belgium. But unfortunately, once again, it says unknown injury here. And of course, on Transfermarkt, it doesn't say how long a player will be out for it. It shows you how many games he's missed. For now, he's only missed 1 game with this new injury. But from what I read, it probably will be a potentially season ending or, at least a month or 2 out for the boy, which is a shame. And again, you see that throughout this season. At the beginning of the season, he was out for 52 days. Then he was out again for 19 days. This is the problem with Van Huysden. And I said it, when people are saying that we should bring him back for cover. You can't bring a guy back for cover the guy just can't stay fit at the moment, which is a big shame. It's a big shame. So let's see what can be done. I think maybe he might have to be loaned out once again in the summer. Because that's what he needs. He just needs some regular football, the boy. It's an absolute shame he can't get his career going. In terms of Genoa, other players to look out for, I'll show you their starting 11 potentially. So with Van Huysden now, Ostigard will probably come in. At left back, the player to watch out actually if he plays is Cambiaso. Here, he's not Cambiaso, he's got one S, but Cambiaso. We've been linked with him potentially. Young Italian player. But, the fact that he's not been even able to nail down a starting spot in Genoa does, bring up some red flags. But he is one to watch out for. And it looks like Rovella's actually not starting either. This is Mike Amiri. Billie Jean. I've heard he's an interesting talent. They signed him in the winter transfer window. Ekuban, he scored in the last match against Venezia. Got some good pace, good physicality. But yeah, apart from that, not too much to look at. This guy was actually interesting as well. This right back. Funny name, but he's the one to watch out as well. But yeah, honestly, we're not a great team at all, Genoa. So not too much to talk about there. Uncle Sharma, who do you think should start a right wing back? Darmian or Dumfries? I don't think Darmian was that bad versus Sassuolo, although the whole team was rubbish. But I feel Dumfries' bench impact will be good. Yeah, he wasn't bad. Darmian is never bad. That's the thing. Darmian is never bad. But at the same time, he was subbed. Dumfries just adds that extra, that physicality, pace, a bit more risk taking. With Darmian is just, what he's gonna do is gonna be safe. He's gonna be safe defensively, but it's just, especially if you need a goal, you got to bring Dumfries on. But I think we should start our strongest team, and the predicted lineup here from Sky Sport Italy does reflect that. This is our strongest lineup. Once again, I know people were hoping maybe, you see Radu in there, you see, I don't know, someone else, maybe even called as, but no, it's going to be Samir Handanovic once again. Sorry guys, my internet today is a little bit dodgy, so if you see me lagging a little bit, it's because of that. I apologize. Skriniar, De Vrij, and Bastoni is back. Brozzo is back. Barella, Hakan in there. Perisic once again. Dumfries. And up front, Dzeko, Lautaro. I don't know what to say, man. You guys know my thoughts on Dzeko, Lautaro the whole season. On Sport Media Set, to be fair, they have Lautaro and Sanchez starting. But again, I agree with a few people that are saying that maybe Lautaro should be benched for this one or rested for a bit, just to give him like a little signal or like a little wake-up call. Which I agree with. I do agree with that. Like sometimes you just need to take the guy, whoever's out of form, and just let him know. Even though he clearly knows that he's out of form because he's apologizing to the Curva Nord and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, you can't just continue banging your head against the wall. But at the same time, Inzaghi seems like he's very confident in Lautaro. He keeps saying that he's not scared of the attack in terms of, letting him down. Inzaghi said he's more worried about the defending than the attacking. And I do understand him, because I always say this, whenever you look at strikers, one thing you got to look at, you got to worry when a striker isn't getting in goal scoring positions or his movement isn't good. Then you really start to worry about a striker, because that means he has he's not moving well with the team, or he's not finding the right positions. But Dzeko and Lautaro are getting chances. The team is creating chances. Attacking wise, I think against Sassuolo we had like a 2.8 or 2.9 xG or something like that. Against Liverpool as well, we had more than one goal xG, I believe. But we've come from those two matches, we've had about 30 shots combined in those matches and come with 0 goals. But the fact that we come with 0 goals means that maybe the attacking is a problem. It's not the attacking is the problem, that's the finishing is the problem. Inzaghi saying that we've conceding some silly goals, which he did against Sassuolo. We conceded silly goals. Again, Napoli, the penalty conceded was so silly. The goals against Milan were very silly. Against Liverpool, even the goals were very silly. The lapses in concentration. So I can see what Inzaghi means, that he's more actually worried about the defending rather than the attacking, because there's not much more Inzaghi can do. What more can he do? He's putting the guys in goal scoring positions. The team is creating goal scoring chances. That's a coach's job, to put the team in the position to score goals and defend. So he feels like actually the defending is where he needs to revise a few things. And he said they've addressed some issues in training this week. So I hope to see those issues being addressed in the match. Eduardo, it's Correa back. We need that fourth striker to rotate. Of course, 100%, bro. 100%. This is why we paid 31 million for the guy. We need him. We need him back ASAP. Conte is officially in hysteria mode. Yeah, going back to Inzaghi's press conference, it is nice seeing, someone asked me yesterday, like, do you miss Conte? I was like, no. After 2 years of Spalletti and after 2 years of Conte, 4 years of basically having crazy coaches who are like in the press conference, you don't know what's going to happen. Very volatile characters, very, hot-headed, especially Conte, very hot-headed, individuals. It's nice to see someone's, even though Inzaghi on the touchline, and for sure he can get very animated, but in the press conferences, he's usually very mellow, very calm. And it's just nice to have that, where there's no drama in the press conferences, there's no one being attacked. And on the other hand, yeah, Conte completely losing the plot much quicker than I expected, actually. I expected this to happen at some point at Spurs, because this is Spurs, but they broke him in like, what, not even 3 months has it been since he's been there, is it? Yo, can't wait for Gosens to play, but also Uncle Sham, any updates on Correa and Caicedo? Yeah, he also spoke on Caicedo, actually. He said Caicedo was ready actually to play against Sassuolo as well, but he just decided not to play him. But Caicedo is ready now to play and come on as a substitute. Alex asks, what type of striker do you think would go best with Lautaro? Lukaku, as we've seen, that's the best striker that would go with Lautaro. But yeah, it has to, someone has to make the runs in behind, or someone has to be able to carry the ball and take defenders away from Lautaro. So it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be only Lukaku, but it has to be someone that can take the pressure away from Lautaro being the number one. There has to be someone that can take the pressure away from him and be the. It looks like Lautaro can't be the main guy. That's the thing. What we found out this season, we were hoping, and the management was hoping, Inzaghi was hoping he was going to be his Immobile, but clearly, as the meme says, he's not that guy. He's not that guy. Big up, White Suburban Kid, my guy. Tuku and Gosens will be great weapons against high pressing of Milan. Yep, for sure. Hey, my boy, Napoli talk in the house. Hopefully, Napoli do the business against Barcelona tonight, because that means more European football for Napoli and more distraction for them in the Scudetto race. But also, it's good to see for Italian football in general. I do like seeing other Italian teams thrive in Europe apart from Juve. That's the one team I will never support in Europe. And yeah, make sure you guys are smashing the like button, as he said. Perisic and Dumfries have been our two best players this month. Yeah, probably right. The fact that Gagliardini was on the pitch against Liverpool shows how strong our bench is. Yeah, I mean, for that Liverpool game, though, to be fair, Barella was out and then Vecino got injured. But yeah, I know what you mean. But at the end of the day, when it comes to Serie A level, it's a good enough bench. I know we've made a lot of people have been criticizing the bench recently, but when it comes to Serie A depth, is good enough to win the Serie A, the depth on our bench. And we proved that last season. Ghost is coming in. Maybe Perisic could play as a striker. Yeah, we've talked about that, but Perisic can play there, and especially if we're playing against a high pressing team, if there's space to run in behind, he can do that. But I remember on the Conte, a lot of time he played there, and he didn't look too great. And even Inzaghi played him against Lazio in the striker position. But I think that's, again, it's more of a, emergency situation. But with Gosens there, it's like, if you're chasing a match and you need, like, you got Gosens and Perisic on one side making runs in behind, you can destroy someone for sure. So yeah, that could be definitely an option that I would like to see. Benjamin's ordered his Brozovic jersey. Nice. That's what I like to hear. What's my thoughts on selling Lauti for Raspadori plus Skamaka? I'm for it, but at the same time, then you have to also accept that you're not going. To me, you're not. I don't think that's a. Are you increasing the level of the team? You're improving the options for sure, but I don't know if you're actually like, you can't tell me that Raspadori is better than Martinez. I know Lautaro's going through a bad patch of form, but you can't tell me he's better than Martinez. But as a project, young Italian, looking to the future, lower wages, lower costs, probably a bit more technical. Yeah, I like it. But does that show me that we're going to try to improve in Europe and try to dominate Italy? No. So if that happens, then I'm reevaluating. Then the Inter are saying that we're going, we're trying to challenge for the Scudetto, but we're not still like we're not trying to dominate Italy in my opinion. When you go for young talent like that who haven't really proved too much as of yet. Hey, my boy Sunit in the house. Caicedo to play and score versus a team that owns him. Yeah, I mean, it's a funny rule. I don't get in Italy why you're allowed to do this. Like the team that you loan a player from, you're allowed to play against them. In the Premier League, you can't do that. But yeah, surely at some point we have to see Caicedo now. That's what we brought him in for. That's what we shipped out Sensi for. So bring the guy in. Let's see what he can do. And yeah, of course, Juve Merda will always. That can be permanent banner of this channel. Inter's going to share their pain with Genoa. Yes, Lord Figo. I hope so. Hopefully they don't share their pain with us like Sassuolo did. Except the striker position and maybe left wing when Gosens gets ready. There is no dispute in starting 11. That shows our main problem. Yeah, that is also true. That there's not really you can't deny what the starting 11 is of this team. That is true, but at the same time, I feel like that is good enough for the Serie A, but that comes undone in Europe. It's not a rule anywhere. Some teams put a clause in their contract that stops that from happening. Yeah, but it seems like it's a lot more popular in the Premier League if it's not a rule. My mistake if that's not a rule, but it seems like in Italy it never happens because there's been plenty of Inter players that we've loaned out that have scored against us as they're loaned out. I could see Caicedo. Yeah, I could see Caicedo scoring against Genoa for sure. SMS is not competition, bro. SMS is coming to take someone's spot. He's not coming to be competition. He's taking. I know Hakan's done well for us, guys. Like yesterday, I tweeted out about DePaul, and people were like, "Oh, I'm not sure who would take him over. If I would take him over Hakan." No, if DePaul comes in, he's taking one of the starting spots. If it's the DePaul that we know from Udinese and Argentina. If SMS comes in, he's taking someone's spot, whether it's Barella, whether it's Hakan, someone is going from the starting spot. SMS is one of the, if not the best midfielder in the Serie A. But he's going to cost what we can't afford, for sure. By the way, do the stickers and colored chat we purchased from YouTube go to you? Yes. I think YouTube takes a percentage. I can't remember what it is. They take 30-40% or something like that, but they do go to the channel to support the channel. What else did I want to talk about before going? There was one thing I wanted to quickly mention from Inzaghi's. Inzaghi also mentioned that he hopes the he also talked about Brozovic's contract as if it's done. So again, that tells me to believe that that is done, by the way, because I know people are still doubting it. But the fact that Marotta talked about it as if it's done, and now Inzaghi's talked about it as if it's done, and he said he hopes the Perisic and Handanovic one will also be done. Sorry, Sunit, but I know you love Handanovic, but it looks like Handanovic's contract is going to be renewed as well. But yeah, guys, let's finish up with some match predictions. My boy Vin, we need a win. 100%. We need a win this match. There's no other way around. Thoughts on potential Casadei debut against Milan or Liverpool? I'm not sure. I mean, a lot they always put out these reports about, they used to put out reports about Conte liking some youth players, but then we never even saw them. And Casadei is not even on the Champions League squad. Actually, Sangalli is the midfielder that we have on the Champions League squad. Casadei is not even on the Champions League squad when I checked. And no, he's not gonna debut. Inzaghi is not that guy. From what I've seen at Lazio as well, he doesn't seem to be particularly a guy to give much a chance to like Primavera youth at all. Barella's going too comfortable. He needs a serious competitor for that position. Yeah, that's also a good point. That maybe sometimes you feel like when I criticize Barella, that's maybe one point that I never truly mentioned, that his spot is pretty much guaranteed in this team. So he probably does need someone to challenge him for that spot. Prediction 3-0, Lautaro brace, 1 penalty. I can't with a screamer. Oh, I mean, I predicted a Lautaro goal last match round. Oh yeah, the Curva Nord banner quickly. I know I made a post about it on YouTube already, but good to see the Curva Nord supporting. I mean, the Curva Nord, the fact that I'm in agreement with them 2 times in a week is a world record, because usually the Curva Nord is a bit iffy. There's some of the characters in there, but they're actually been speaking some sense. Banner in support of the team, a banner specifically in support of Lautaro, saying stay strong, we believe in you. In support of Handanovic as well, saying don't listen to them, even though he calls people who criticize him dogs who bark. But I like to see that in this moment of time, we're going through a difficult period, especially those two are probably our most criticized players. I heard that Lautaro and Handanovic, channel member Filippo Persi told me that Lautaro and Handanovic were kind of the more booed at the San Siro Stadium against Sassuolo. So it's good that they're showing support to the players that who are struggling. But Lautaro, he's apologizing to the fans and stuff, but we need to start seeing the results on the pitch now. We need it more than ever now. We need Lautaro to wake up. Please, Lautaro, please, we're begging. I'm on my knees. 100% we need a backup for Chala. I think we still could do. I still think we can improve on Hakan. I think Hakan was a great free transfer to, make do in the when we lost Eriksson in a very unfortunate way. But I still think that's, if you ask me where the team is improvable, where we can upgrade, I still think the Hakan position is upgradable. But of course, our budget is what it is, so I don't see that happening. So, and Hakan, a good Hakan substitute is what's needed. Handanovic is done, but again, it's not his fault. The fact that he's here is not his fault. This is on the management that this issue has not been addressed until next season with Onana. But let's see if that is actually addressed still, even with Onana. It's not Handanovic's fault that he's declined. It's the fact that he's still the starting goalkeeper for Inter at this stage of his career. Matteo says 2-0 win, 3-0 if you wear that overpowered black jersey. Yeah, that is our lucky jersey. 3-0 Inter. Lautaro bounces back, scored early, scores a brace. Wow, no one's given Genoa any goal. Interesting. So you guys are thinking we're continuing the clean sheet streak that we have against Genoa. Sensi should come back. Yeah, one thing about Sensi as well, people were saying that we could have used Sensi against Sassuolo. Did Sensi play for Sampdoria in the last match? No, he didn't, because he was out once again. He played 2 matches for Sampdoria, and then he was out for the last one with gastroenteritis or a tummy issues. So once again, this is why, I was in favor of loaning Sensi out, because it's like, he's there. When he's there, you think like, oh, we should use him. But then when you actually need him, something happens out of the blue. And once again, he was out for Sampdoria in the last match. Agree with Freddie. We need another midfielder for the starting 11. We'll start with the Kessie situation, by the way. Yeah, we'll see. As I keep saying, I'm sure Marotta is evaluating the situation, but the guy, he's asking for crazy amounts, guys. Kessie, I don't know where he's got this ego from, these demands from, but he's asking for 8-9 million net a season, which is absolutely ridiculous. It would make him the highest paid player in the Serie A after De Ligt, and that is absolutely ridiculous. He doesn't deserve that type of money, and we can't afford that type of money. And I'm not sure where he kind of really fits in Limone's football. Really, I don't know if he fits in as the CDM or as one of the mezzalas, because he, as a mezzala, which in the three centre mids, which he used to, that's the position he's played for most for Milan before Pioli came in. They used to play mainly 4-3-3. He never really looked good in that position until now when they switched to the 4-2-3-1 in the two. He looks much better, and we don't play with two in midfield. So I don't really see him 100% fitting in, although I do like him as a player, but I don't really see him fitting in too much with that money anyway. 3-0, Nicola says Lautaro, Gagliardini, Dzeko, Caicedo. Well, Gagliardini doesn't look like he's starting, so if he was starting, I would have gone with the Gagliardini goal, because that is his favorite team to score against. Yeah, King Dorian, I would go for De Paul in the summer, cheeky loan with option, loan with obligation. If we can do that, I would go for that. 100%. I love De Paul, and as far as I know, I'll hate bringing this up to you guys, but he was Inter. I've got a few sources I talked to who said Inter had a deal agreed with Udinese to buy De Paul, but we didn't actually have the capital to finish the deal. Like, it was agreed for around what Atletico bought him for, which is 35 million, and this was in January, but Inter just didn't have the cash, the money to buy him, unfortunately. So that is a big shame. But these are opportunities that if Atletico, they're not using him much at the moment or starting him much. If he wants to come back to Serie A, if Beppe can cook something, for sure. Yeah, Sensi, let's see how he does at Sampdoria. You guys know I'm a massive Sensi fan. Hopefully he can come back and be that mezzala that we need. Hopefully. Worried about Perisic. He is playing a lot. And I think that's why he has, we brought Gosens. We can't keep, we saw against Sassuolo, he is probably the one that showed how tired the team is. Perisic was the perfect embodiment of the tiredness of this team. Like, he was still pumping up and down the whole match up until the 60th, 70th minute, but he was literally on his knees by the time he was brought out. So I am worried about Perisic. Yeah, you're right. And I hope, if the scoreline is good, that we can bring in DiMarco around the 60th, 70th minute and give him a bit of rest. Benjamin, thank you very much for becoming a channel member. I appreciate your support of the channel. Appreciate it very much. And your first donation will go to the Pupi Foundation, Fondazione Pupi charity. Yeah, I like Malinovsky. I do like Malinovsky, but he plays more advanced than a midfielder. He would have to be converted if we sign him. But yeah, I do like Malinovsky for sure. I'm officially a nephew. Yeah, welcome to the uncle nephew club, I guess you could call it. Or rather Fabian Ruiz than Kessie. Yeah, I really like Fabian Ruiz, and yeah, he definitely fits more of Limone. I could see him fitting more into Limone ball for sure. Although even he plays in a 4-2-3-1, but I can see him being like that mezzala who comes deep and builds up, and left-footed as well. It'd be nice to have a left-footed player in the midfield as well. And what a left foot as well. Beautiful. Donny van de Beek. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were on the channel a few months ago, but people were shouting about Donny van de Beek for a lot when we first signed Haka, and everyone was like, no, we should bring in Donny van de Beek. But let's see in the summer again, if there's an opportunity on a loan possibility to buy, maybe, yeah, he could be a good opportunity buy as well. Definitely should keep an eye out on that position for sure. No, Brozovic is still not officially renewed, but now Beppe, as I said, Beppe Marotta said that is done. Inzaghi alluded to it being done in today's press conference, so I don't know what to say anymore. I keep saying to people it's done, but they're dragging it out so long, and I don't know what's taking so long. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please, Inter, please tomorrow, don't ruin our day, don't ruin our week. There's enough going around in the world, not enough negativity. Bring some positivity back for us. Get a nice win. My prediction is, I still think we're not going to be like brilliant, but I think we're going to get the win finally again. I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory. and I'm gonna go for a Skriniar goal and a Lautaro goal. Yeah, come on, Lautaro, man. You gotta break this. You gotta break this drought. He hasn't scored in open places December. He hasn't scored a goal since the Super Cup against Juventus, and that was a penalty. Surely, at some point, he needs to break his drought, man. Yeah, Benveto, I agree. 2-0. Anad says 2-1. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even put it against us to concede a stupid goal against this plucky Genoa team. As I said, don't underestimate them. They have been decent under Blessing. They drew against Roma away, but yeah, 2-0 victory. Let's go. Make sure you guys leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel if you're new to the channel. I'll see you tomorrow, guys, for the post-match reaction, which hopefully I haven't done a positive post-match reaction in a while, so I need to do a nice post-match reaction. Edin says, I don't think Lautaro will score. I'm just going to predict it every single match, man. It's just how it is. If he's starting, I'm going to predict the Lautaro goal. Even though I actually don't think he will score. I agree with Edin. I don't think you actually will score, but I'm willing it into existence. I'm just hoping that it actually happens. Deshaun says 3-1, doesn't think a clean sheet is possible. Let's see. King Dorian says he's scoring in March. Bloody hell. We have to wait that long. Maybe the derby in the cup. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed that preview. And as always, guys, Forza Inter. Catch you on the next one. Ciao.